Hello, everyone. My name is James McBride. I'm your instructor for the Google IT support courses. I teach a lot of IT and cybersecurity courses in that building right back there on our campus. It's a beautiful building. What this video is about today is just enough to get you going. So I divide up what I tell the students for their success into different videos. That way they can focus on just those videos. I have a lot of students that just won't watch any of them, and then they don't do well, and that's really, really bad. So what's required? The Google IT certificate, which again is explained in another video if you want to watch that, is an important standard in the industry. You have to take both the CMP 155 and the CMP 156 in order to earn that certificate from Google. That certificate is given from Google. So make sure you register for both classes. I always have people start in the 155, and I think some of them honestly are like, I just need 3 credits, so I'll just take this one. It sounds cool, or somebody told me it was easy, or whatever they say. And then as they're going through this, they're like, hey, you know what? I really want to get this certificate. This is going to look good on my resume. And then they sign up for the 156. And sometimes they're a little late to sign up, right? Because they're so jam-packed in the summer. So register for both of those courses so that you'll be able to get the Google certificate. I require more to actually earn the grade than Google requires for you to get the certificate. So Google has made it so that no matter what your background and no matter what you're doing, you'll be able to earn the certificate. And the honest truth is that they are trusting that you're being honest. And what I do is actually take that up a notch and say, no, you got to do these to actually be prepared. So we'll show you that in a minute. Another important factor in the summer courses, course timetable, all assignments close the last day of class. Yay. However, there are due dates, and there is a 1% penalty per day for turning in assignments late. So what this does is give the student flexibility. Things happen and summers are busy, right? But you miss a couple of days in a summer course. You don't go out and do it for a couple of days. That's like missing 3 weeks of time in a regular course. And I don't want things to just be closed on you so you can't do them at all. So I allow you to do, everything will close the last day of class, but you need to pay attention to the timetable. You need to pay attention to the due dates. And if you don't, you'll receive a penalty. Even though you're getting 100% on this stuff, well, you're not actually getting 100%, right? Because you get docked for that time. There is a lot to do in 4 weeks, so just stay focused on it. All right, so let's look at the course layout, what you're actually going to do, and we are using Canvas and Quick Labs. So you have already logged into Canvas. That's how you got to this video, and you haven't seen stuff below because you have to take this test, what to do. And it's a short little test, and I give you 3 shots, and it's actually worth a good amount of points. It really is. Just pay attention in this video and then answer those questions. If you don't get it right in 3 tries, then you end up having to message me and say, hey, I didn't get that right. So what do I do? And I'll be like, pay attention in the short video. All right, so anyway, below that, when you finish this stuff, you will see this information. This gives you access to the coursework. So there's nothing in Canvas in the way of a textbook or quizzes other than this. This is going to give you access to that. So we're going to go through technical support fundamentals. That's a whole set of content. The bits and bytes of computer networking. And then halfway through operating systems and you becoming a power user, that's what it means, be up through package and software management by the end of class. Below that, you have your assignment turn-ins, and I'm just going to compact that so we can see it. There's one for tech support fundamentals. There's one for bits and bytes. And there's one for operating systems and you. So this is where you're going to turn in work, and we're going to show you that in just a second. And then down below is a bunch of course helps. Google really is like a really quick shotgun approach to things, and so they get into some pretty complex things without a lot of background. They go blah, 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 go do it. And that's not good for a lot of students, And so I have more information. Like if you want to dig into the Linux CLI, because you're going to do some labs in Linux, watch this video and I explain a lot more about how the CLI works and so on and so on. I talk about absolute and relative references. So I get into that for 20, 25 minutes where they just talked about it for 5, right? So none of this is required. That's why it says not required. All of it will say not required. But it's down there for you if you need it. And of course, always ask questions, always send me a message and say, hey, but because this is such a condensed course, I really try to put in what I can here so that you can get that information when you need it. If you're up and working at, 2 or 3 a.m. and, well, McBride's not getting back to me till tomorrow at 9 or 10 a.m., right? So that's just there for you to have to help you. Not required, not required, not required. All right, let's see how this is laid out. I have actually got a couple of these open and I'm just going to close them so that I'll force it to open again. Right, so there's the assignment turn in. If you want to know what you're going to be doing, the workload, right? This is the workload. This is all the stuff that gets turned in that I grade and you get your grade for. And you'll see that, networking is a lot longer than the first section. So the first section, you really need to get done quick. That's why I have such a short time frame on that. Anyway, that's where you're going to turn in your assignments. So if you want to know, well, how much am I doing here? There you go. That tells you. All right, so I'm going to click on Technical Support Fundamentals. And this is an old thing. I need to get rid of that before class starts. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm actually in student view, so I'm going to leave student view. When I'm in student view, it's like, who are you, right? But you don't have to worry about creating a Quick Labs login. You don't have to do anything. What'll happen is when you're in Canvas and you click this link, it'll create a user account for you and it'll associate it with your Canvas. Everything's good. That does lead to a problem of you not being able to get into Quick Labs once the class is over. So make sure that when you're talking in 156, I'll actually have information about, hey, make sure you get your certificate in Quick Labs. And I have some videos on how to do that. All right, so here you are. Here's an overview, technical support fundamentals. I'm going to jump over to activities here. And I'm going to jump to what you will see. So you'll see this kind of view, right? All this stuff. And they have a ton of stuff in here, right? But just like any class, basically what you're looking at with these little videos and the readings that happen, that's your textbook, right? That's your textbook. And the honest truth is that you really do need to go through the videos. But at the same time, right, it's a summer course and sometimes things get hectic and you're like, oh no, what do I got to do? You know what? I got to get this stuff done. That's what happens in reality, right? Yeah, it would be great if we all read the textbook, but that doesn't happen a lot because you get short on time. So this is what you need to do. You need to come over here and look and say, okay, I've got to do this practice quiz. That has to be turned in. This practice quiz has to be turned in. And this graded quiz has to be turned in. So you need to understand that what's really happening at this point is mostly practice quizzes and graded quizzes. That's mostly what's happening. Practice quiz, graded quiz. Oh, and then there's some labs, right? So they do give you a couple labs and we'll talk about that in a while. So how do I get this turned in? How do I do it? Yeah, I hate to say it. I cannot make this stuff pass it back through. It's something that Google really needs to fix. And then you wouldn't have to do this step. I'm sorry that you have to do this step. So let's say that we're up here at the top and we're going to take a look. We'll actually do that one. We'll take a look at this one that's in progress, practice quiz components. So here it is. Here's the practice quiz. And I'm just going to mark some stuff. See how big that is? Wow, I have 3 questions. I'm going to go ahead and submit that. I didn't even get a single one right. So notice it says your score is a 0. Passing score, you have to get an 80 or better. I actually will give you the grade you get, right? So if you get an 80 or better, you're getting an 80 or better, right? That means if you do all this work, you're assured a B in the class at the least. So anyway, notice I can retake it. So again, I am not going to listen to anything, and I'm just going to come through here and mark things. And I still didn't. I'm going to retake it. You see the problem? You see the problem with that? Anytime they have checkboxes, they usually want all of them or 2 of them. I still didn't guess right. I'm going to retake it. You see that? And so you can keep retaking and retaking and retaking these things, and that's really not that difficult to do in a class, right? That's the way it is. But once you got done with it, and you actually, instead of again, I'm just marking stuff. This will get something. I didn't. So let's say I actually got an 80 or better, and it would tell me that your score is an 80, passing score is 80. Then this is what I would take a picture of right here at the top. That's what I would take a picture of. And I would be done with that, take a picture and upload it into this assignment here, right here. So I'll show you that in another video that will be short, but that's how you're going to be going back and forth between this system, because this is recording everything you do, how many times you take it, what scores you got, when you took it, all that. But it doesn't transfer anything over to Canvas. It just provides a link to you to get to it. And that makes it really hard for me to show students what their grade is. And they'll go, what's my grade? And I'm like, oh, dang, this thing doesn't, Quick Labs doesn't grade anything. It doesn't show me any of that. And so what this is doing is allowing you to see a grade over here and to know this is the work I have to do. This is what I have to get done. This is where I am in the work. It's very organizational for you and to help you out. Now, I will also show you, since I have done this, you will notice that some of them are graded assessments. You have to do all the graded assessments in order to actually get Google's certificate. And that's where I'm asking for more, right? I'm asking you to turn in your grade for the quizzes that prep you for the graded assessments, right? I want you to turn that stuff in. There's a few other assignments, little labs and a couple of documents and things, but most of it is make sure you get the practice quizzes done and make sure you do anything that's under graded assessment. That means this video here, one program, many futures, you have to watch this. If you don't get a check mark here, you won't get the certificate. So be warned, anything under graded assessments has to have a check mark on it. Otherwise, you won't get the certificate at the end. And that has happened in the past. And so there's my graded quiz. It says right there what it is. And again, if I had passed this, I would take a screenshot and I would turn that in, which I'll show you in the other video. So anything that's graded can be retaken 3 times, and then you're locked out for 24 hours. And then in 24 hours, you can come back and take them again. And it does give you some feedback. So let's just, I'm sure you guys don't want me watching me read this stuff and then answer the questions. I could. It's pretty easy stuff. Basic stuff. That's what I should say. Not easy stuff, basic stuff. Oh, I got a 44. That's pretty good for guessing. So, you just retake it and then retake it. But then once you get to that third point, it's like, oh, you can't do this until 24 hours from now. But if I passed it, I'd take a screenshot and turn that in. And that's really what you want to do. You want to be able to follow down through this and know, okay, I'm turning this in before the due date, getting this done before the due date, and I'm turning those screenshots in, and then that allows me to go in and see your progress and record grades for you, and for you to be able to go to grades and say, what do I have? How am I doing in this class? All right, so that's it for this video. Let me jump back to the PowerPoint to finish this up. Take the short test. That's the last thing. There's going to be a few questions basically about what I discussed in this video. And when you pass that, you're ready to get started on the work. Thanks for watching.